Alright folks, today I'm going to be talking about fuse blocks. The importance of one, having one, and how much easier it is as you start adding things to your UTVs down the road. All these add-ons we keep adding to our machines. And so what a fuse block essentially does, I'll pull up one here right in front of me. Here's one for 10 bucks, right? So as you can see, essentially what it does is you just run a single cable to this pin right here direct to your battery, and now you have essentially a fuse block. So this one is a 10. I got 6 gang boxes. You put your fuses in here. The beauty of a unit like this is it lights up when the fuse is blown. It is dark when the fuses are okay. So now you can look real quick and find out what fuse is blown, what unit's giving you problem in there by doing this, by using one of these. And what it also allows you to do is to fuse up, again, 6 different, I use a 6 gang or 6 different one identical to this. They've got waterproof ones. There's my 6, essentially one I bought right here. I think mine's just a hair bigger than that, but I think I bought one from these guys. Mine you can use clips on so that I can unclip my wires pretty quickly. I also saw this one I really like, but I've already bought mine. There's a unique one, as you can see. You get to essentially label your units. There's your positive, and then you can go ahead and screw in your wires and use terminal connectors there, round or U-shaped terminal connectors, and screw them in, whichever you like. If I would have seen these before at $9.99 a piece, I'd have bought it in a heartbeat, right? And so I have installed this on the inside wall of my Commander. I'm getting ready to wire it up. I'll show you how to do that. Another nice thing to have is a ground block. I don't know if I can search for that or not, but let's give it a shot here so I can show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, there we go. Simple ground block. These things are $2 or $3 a piece, right? That's 13, but I guarantee you can find it a lot cheaper. So essentially all you're now doing is running a negative from your battery over to this terminal here, and now you can mount this thing with screw holes like you do your fuse block up there at the front of your ride. Now you can essentially positively ground every bit of your accessories on there, and know you've got a good clean ground to the battery. That also means you're not trying to ground to the frame, drill holes in the frame, find some place that's a ground contact. Everything gets wired to there simply, and it rarely fails. You can put dielectric grease on top of these units and what have you. They even make some that are essentially even more waterproof. But for a ground, it's a bar. You can't screw that up. So I did put one of these also on my my X3, and I may do the same as well on my Commander if I need it. So the next clip I'll show you how to install one of these and do it quickly instead of doing individual wiring. Alright, so here is where I mounted my fuse block. Well, you guys can mount it somewhere else, but I chose to mount mine right on the inside of that fender well. Hope you can see that and get a good shot of it. Notice what I did was just run a positive. My battery was right there, so it's a nice short addition, and you keep adding things to that positive terminal of that battery, it really becomes a pain in the butt. So I have mounted that there. What I've done to make life easy is I have gone ahead and wired up and sealed up 2 heavier gauge wires and 2 thinner gauge wires. I ran them through some of this conduit. You can buy this stuff online by 100 feet. You can get a 1/4 inch, 3/8, ½ inch, 3/4 inch. And it really does a pretty good job. Yeah, they do have the mesh tubing. It's a little bit more expensive, but I found this stuff on sale, and it works good for me. Every once in a while, I'll put a piece of electrical tape in there just to make sure that they don't fall out. And so now I've got everything pre-wired, ready to roll. I'll be putting this stuff up on, running this stuff up. I'll probably cut that back a little bit more. And now I'm all set to cut and crimp. By the way, these are great. These will cut, crimp, and strip. And they have adjustable width for the wiring itself, if you can see that. And so I use 2 or 3 different types. Yes, I do use shrink tubing with the heat gun right now. I think this is probably one from Harbor Freight. It's a Chicago Electric. I've had this one for like 8 years. This thing for like $9. They have one in sale right now, nicer than this one, for $9 right now. 2-speed. I use 2 or 3 types. I will sometimes solder and then heat shrink. You got a bunch of that. You buy that online in packages, and for like, I don't know, $20 for like 700 tubes. Is crazy. I use 2 different types of connectors here. Hopefully I'm doing this by hand, and hopefully you can see this. Anyway, these are shrink tubes. I like to use these. They'll still do a pretty good job. They're not 100% waterproof, but hey, you really don't need them. They do make these that have a sealant inside that when you do heat it, it will seal it. They're a little more expensive, but catch these right, you can get a whole big thing of them pretty cheap. Go to the store, car parts place, you get like 10 of them for $10. Here, I think every one of these, this is 180, something like that, 100 and something. Yeah, 170 of them for, I think I paid $14 for them. These are unusual. These are heat shrink solder sleeves. So these are kind of neat. So what they're doing, you figured it out, those of you who do wiring. Blue indicates certain gauges that you can use. That's a medium gauge. This is, I think, red is like 18 to 22 gauge, something like that. There's some real tiny ones. Blue is like, I think, 10 to 16, something like that. So all you do is put 2 stripped ends in the middle and cross them over. Use a, if I've got one out here. Thought I did. Well, I guess I don't. Use a torch. Yeah, dude, right here in front of me. Use a torch, hit it, and immediately that's going to shrink up and solder and seal. And then the outsides, this blue is actually a strip of sealant. So these are waterproof. They're not cheap, so I don't use them very often. And but you can take 2 short stripped ends, put them together in the middle. You don't crimp it, you just heat it with this, not a heat gun, one of these torches, and you'd be surprised how quickly you can seal those units up in place. So that's how to do it quickly. You now have all your red wires run up to there. You can start splitting one out if you need a longer length. Add to it. I also use, when I have terminals, I also use terminal connectors that are heat shrunk so that I at least get a decent seal. The more oxygen you allow to your connections, those of you who know, the more apt you are to get shorts down the road. So this helps when you shrink these where they go on. That's why I didn't have any more of these clips, so I heat shrink the end of them to make sure they were sealed up as best as possible. This will be left open, but here's pretty important. So, folks, that's what I'm doing to put that in. Now you can, again, when something blows, you go right to it. There'll be a red light, and you can change out a fuse, keep a couple of fuses in your ride, and you're set to go. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please like it. Please subscribe. I'm constantly doing things on my channel now to show you guys and gals how to do upgrades on the cheap without spending a ton of money. I've got, you've heard me mention before, I've already done my hangers. I've got windshield wipers and washer electric coming soon, hopefully, when I can get my new full windshield. I'm running half windshields right now in our warm climate down here in Houston, but I'm doing that. I've got a couple other neat things on the horizon. Heated seats. I forget what else I've got on order. So I'm going to keep producing these videos. I hope you like them. I hope they're informative. And if they are, please subscribe and tell people about them. I could sure use some more subscriptions. And maybe one day I'll start getting more popular and get some more stuff out there. Thanks, folks. Have a good day.